To drawing Narwhal Jelly?
Yes.
All right. Well, if anyone wants to join with me, encourage you to grab some paper, something to draw with. Narwhal starts out with a shape that looks like this, which if I was to turn it upside down, looks a bit like a water droplet, which fitting for narwhal being an aquatic creature. And then at the widest point here, just above it, draw a couple tall dots like so for eyes. Draw them tall because it looks more excited to me that way. And as we've established, Narwhal is very excited sort of character, that sugar-based personality. And so usually smiling. So a little U for a smile there. And then about midway point, or just above it on the water droplet shape, a couple sunflower-like petals for flippers. A couple other little ones at the tip here, or kind of like a little heart for a tail. And then if I was talking about sweet tooth here, I might do something else happening at the top, but I'm going to draw Narwhal Classic to begin with here. So really tall triangle, even though on an actual narwhal, their tusk comes out their upper lip. Narwhals are a two-toothed whale, one of those growing out into a tusk, usually the male narwhals. Sometimes female narwhals do too, though. And very rarely, both teeth grow into tusks. Again, sweet tooth might have a little something to share about that too. Some lines across. And then narwhal is bursting with energy. So often I'll use some emphasis lines because just can't be contained. And then jelly. Jelly's a little half circle to begin with for the bell. And then add a couple dots for eyes here too, but jelly's good at feeling all sorts of things. Here, let's see, might be a little skeptical. I'll often make the faces as I'm doing them. So if you saw my face right now, you'd see my brows scrunched up like this. A little O for a mouth, one tentacle going up. The other tentacle's not sure what's going on, not sure what to do. What is Narwhal so happy about? What is Narwhal looking at? And there we have Narwhal and Jelly.
That's wonderful. So I'm curious. So let's say I'm putting you in a hypothetical situation here. Let's say you need a new character and it's going to be some undersea creature. You don't know what it's going to be yet. How would you go about those initial doodles to try to find this new character?
Hmm. So often I'll just start trying to fill the page. And I might begin with just familiar sort of shapes. And then as I've doing the familiar shapes, I might move on to less familiar things. In this case, what's Narwhal so excited about? I kind of feel like doing a manatee. So manatees, I'd often pull up like a reference image or something. Uh, I'm going to do my best from just my memory of what a manatee looks like. So we'll see how that goes. Kind of a potato-like body. And then your tails, I believe, kind of look like a scoop almost. Something like that. And then draw a couple eyes. Let's see. When they have that, oh, that odd sort of muzzle, that mouth.
It's
I
almost
think
like a
I'll do,
cat's.
yeah. I think I'm going to do mine like this. A little oval, couple nostrils, a smile. Anatomically correct. add a little. They flippers for manatees?
Sure.
Need to up my manatee knowledge here. Do another one back here. And then they often have like algae and stuff growing on their backs, right? So I might have
Hmm.
some little bits and bobs there. They also, one thing I do know about manatees is like one of the ways that they, uh, for swimming around, for going up and down, they change their buoyancy with the amount of air they have inside them, right? So this might be a tooting manatee. Which fits too, sea cow, right?
It does. That's great. So sticking with this manatee, like let's say, oh, I like this design. Like how would like first off, I want to know if you have a name for this manatee and how would you go about thinking of his personality or her personality?
Sure. So I would draw this character again and again and again, different poses, trying different things, seeing what kind of fits. Um, just trying to fill page after page. And as I'm doing that, I'll often kind of interview them, ask them questions about what they like to do, where do they live, and I'll try out different voices for them. So this one seems pretty happy so far, but I don't know. I don't want to make it exactly like Narwhal. So maybe was happily swimming along and then noticed us and goes, "Oh, what's going on?" Feels kind of like a manatee voice to me. Might play with that some more. So some maybe some prized lines here. And so I'll just kind of practice their voice, their poses.
So that's interesting. You said their voice too. Was that something you did for all the characters you did? Like, can you hear their voices?
Yeah, some of them have clearer voices than others. Generally, as I get to know a character better, it becomes clearer what their voice is. One of my big influences is like Jim Henson and Muppets and all that, and love watching the behind the scenes of like the making of those because you guys see all the like voice actors, the Muppeteers trying out the different options on what the voice could sound like.
So I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but are you getting any reads for a name for a manatee?
Oh, right. You asked about name. Let's see. Well, there's the obvious for a manatee, Manny, uh, Mr. T.
Hmm. I think he would need a mohawk, which is probably doable.
See what floats. Marlowe, Milo. This feels like a Milo to me.
Hmm.
Hmm. Although this one might be a Marcy.
I'm holding out hope that they will show up in a future adventure of Narwhal and Jelly.
I've been wanting to do something with manatee for a while. I'd really like to do.
Hmm.
Um, even maybe featuring a manatee at some point here.
Is there anything that in particular like you enjoy drawing more than others? Like maybe not a character, but is there any sort of element that you just really love drawing?
The characters are my favorite part,
Hmm.
especially facial expressions. I love exploring different looks. I also enjoy just the coloring once I get to that stage too. I find it very relaxing. Did you doodle some of these too?
I did. They're pretty bad, but I was working on it while you were showing how.
Can you hold this up a little higher?
Oh, they're terrible.
Oh, I love those. Those are
They're,
great.
they're very misshapen, but the ones that were misshapen, I just didn't continue with.
I like the way you did I think one of the mouths you did more the like cat mouth, something kind of more like that.
Yeah, I tried to. I definitely made sure they were all tooting also, which was a commitment.
Well, yeah, that's what the most essential part was, right?
I thought so too. Yeah. I thought so too. See, there we go. It's rubbing off on me. So let's say like you've got your characters, you've got your plan to sort of start building out the story. Do you do everything on like on physical paper, or do you do it digitally, like the paneling and the drawing out of the actual story itself?
Originally, when I started working on the books, it was mostly all by hand,
Hmm.
and then some assembly digitally in like Photoshop. Um, but as I've continued along, I've gotten more comfortable with like Procreate on iPad, and we'll do a fair bit on there now, which has allowed me to speed up my process a bit. And um, one of the reassuring things was I switched on that kind of mid-book on one of the books, and my editor didn't even notice, uh, which was kind of funny to me. I definitely notice. I can see the slight differences, and I think other illustrators can, but I'm hoping not too many people were disappointed in that switch. Do you have a creature suggestion of who Narwhal and Jelly should
You
be
know,
meeting
it
at some point?
it's funny that you mentioned the walruses because I was excited to see a walrus, especially just to have another tusked creature and how that would affect Narwhal's sense of tuskage.
Ah,
So I'm excited to see when the walruses come out. But no, I mean the octopus is my favorite undersea creature, and you got such a great one there, him in his little garden. So I'm good with what you have out there so far, and I look forward to the walruses. Although this guy's looking pretty great too.
add a walrus into the mix here. See, also kind of potato-like. And then figure out how to draw their flippers. Of course, my favorite part of drawing a walrus is those mustaches.
Yes.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about, but that tusk bond, there might be something there. I need to give that some more thought.
You could have so much fun with those mustaches.
One of the ones kids ask for the most is an axolotl.
Ah, that's a good request. Have you done a squid? Probably not much different than the octopus, but
See, have I had a squid actually making an appearance in any of the books? I've drawn so many squids because a friend of mine who I've collaborated with on other books, Andy Chow Musser, he made a book with his sister called The Search for a Giant Squid, and
ah,
we were doing presentations together this past year, and we did a mix of our two books where we would take Search for a Giant Squid and Narwhal Jelly, and Search for a Giant Squid has a like pick your path, choose your own adventure style aspect to it. So we were doing that with Narwhal and Jelly. Uh, and so I was drawing lots of squids because of that. But I don't think a squid has made it into one of the actual books yet. It's Kraken too. I want to introduce Ken
Yes.
back in at some point. Introduce Ken
Yes.
back in at some point.
What about a hammerhead shark?
Ooh, Hammerhead would be good.
I do like me a good hammerhead. That would be an interesting one too, because they don't have the roundness of other sea creatures.
Yeah, how would I be drawing it? I have
Yeah.
drawn doodled a few of them in the past, but I feel like I always go to the same pose. So I think I need to figure out
Mm,
what other poses I'd be doing with them.
I like this already. If you come up with Hammy the Hammerhead, I will be eternally happy.
Yami is pretty great. And this character would be quite the ham then.
That's right.
Oh, and with squid, we were talking the squid. Yeah, I think a deep dive with Narwhal Jelly at some point, seeing some of
Mm.
those uh creatures in the deeper parts of the ocean might be
Yeah,
pretty
you
neat
you
adventure.
included the not the anglerfish, the big fang tooth in one of the little informational panels. They're just so scary though, which I mean that's
Oh
I
yeah.
guess part of it.
Yeah, not exactly on brand for Narwhal
Right.
Jelly. That's why I was sure though when sharing about that one that it's not something that anyone needs to be worried about. You're not going to get one that's coming up to you. But yeah, those are some incredible things.
Yeah. Well, this is great. Thank you for walking through this whole creation process. I love these little, yeah, you really knocked those mustaches out of the park. Like those are
Thank you.
truly
Thank you.
spectacular.
Try.
Is there anything else you want to draw before we move on?
Oh, let's do one last thing here. Let's add a myrmicorn.
Ooh,
Myrmicorn first makes appearance in the fifth book, Happy Narwhal Days. But I've been wanting to spend some more time with um, like just mer sort of creatures. Like I want Narwhal and Jelly to visit like a bunch of mermaids at one point, which
interesting. Do you think you'll do more, not to say mermaids aren't real, but do you think you'll do more like fantastical creatures?
yeah, I one of my other rules, in addition to Narwhal generally not frowning, was that if Narwhal thinks it's possible, it probably is. Um, and so that can take you a lot of places.
I love it.
I love that you drew with me the whole time.
I
Thank
try
you.
and I tried to do these also, the walruses and the squid and the little hammy. So
Oh, I love the hammy especially.
I did my best. Maybe I'll save these, maybe I won't. We'll see.
Definitely need to give that hammy character some thought.
He's adorable.
Yeah.
All right, if you want to join me back on camera here,
Sure.
we'll move right along. Thank you. That was wonderful. That was so much fun.